And what I have found is that the lemon wedge in water really works. So wheat, if you have bread at night, or you're having a lot of grain products. I had a patient recently came in, and I know that sometimes I say this is a true story. Sometimes, if you only know what I hear during the day, she has a condition that is agoraphobia. This person was so intense that she drove to the parking lot across the street 3 times because she couldn't drive into our parking lot. So I looked at her diet. We have since alleviated it, by the way. She needed B vitamins. But I recently looked at her diet. Do you know what she has at every meal? Gluten in the source of wheat or oatmeal. Now, I'm not telling you not to eat oatmeal, because oatmeal is good for you. But if you eat constantly oatmeal and wheat, it can cause your body to be acid. Do you want to know what the problem with acid is? The real problem? It takes minerals out of your body. Minerals are in all the enzymatic reactions inside your body. So the real problem with stress is it makes acid, but acid uses up all the minerals. So what have we learned from our environment? What we learned from our environment, if you have a pool and it rains, you better make sure the pH of it gets checked because your vinyl lining will deteriorate. And I'm sure that I looked at the vinyl in my home, I looked at the paint that I had done to this office here, and you notice how it oxidizes and how material, it's because what's happening is acid rain. When you work muscle, when you exercise muscle, muscle metabolism results in lactic acid. That was very important what I just said, by the way. So when you exercise muscle, the byproduct is lactic acid. What does that mean, Dr. Bob? You need B vitamins to process the lactic acid. Okay, so if you are chronically have sore muscles, I know that you're probably acid. So if you eat a lot of meat products, a lot of grains, you don't eat fruits and vegetables, you have stress, you just lost your job, you drink alcohol, eat sugar, you got all that, which is America, by the way, and then you wonder why you get sick, it's because your body's in a state of acid. So I know that if I have any unnecessary stress in my life, increase your apples, your carrots, beets, Celtic sea salt. I eat that all the time. Now, the minerals are critical. The Celtic sea salt is critical for you because your body needs those minerals. If you cry easy, if you have a fear of impending doom, paranoia, that's a sign that you need B vitamins. If you cry easy, I had a lady came as a new patient the other day, she was standing there, she was crying. I thought, wow, I can't believe it. But she needed B vitamins. See, it's physiologic. You know, sometimes I have patients come in and say, oh, my child's a crybaby. They're not a crybaby. They need B vitamins. Well, how do you know that? Because they just went to Halloween or Christmas or Easter or Mother's Day, and guess what they had? Candy. And guess what candy takes out of your body? B vitamins. Okay, so the metabolism muscle. So if you always have sore muscles, you're probably acid. How can we test what your pH is? Well, in our office, we use paper called nitrazine paper. And we do it to our patients when you come in. We usually do it at either the first time you come in or when we get to the pro check. I had a patient that came in one time where I really learned about what this was. His pH was 4.5. Now let me give you the range of pH. The range of pH will go from 4 to about 14. I like saliva pH to be about 6.5. That's myself. Now I might not say that in the books, but from what I see with our patients, 6.5. If you're 7 or 7.5, you won't get cancer, but you could get fibromyalgia. You won't get cancer, but you'll get fibromyalgia, especially women who like citrus. Citrus actually causes you to become alkaline. What does that mean, Dr. Bob? I thought citrus is acid. The acid from the citrus mixes with the sodium in your intestine to become alkaline. You know why you have me do a lemon wedge, Dr. Bob? Because the lemon wedge will make the wheat you have at night more alkaline so you don't snore. Because people who snore, I found, usually are acid. So that means people who have sleep apnea are normally acid. Very fascinating, isn't it? We start tying all these little nuggets together. So your saliva pH, I like to be 6.5. Well, this patient came in, he was 4.5, and he was diagnosed with pancreas cancer. I was shocked, because that's when I finally thought, oh, there is some validity to this. So that's when we started testing our patients for their saliva pH. The very best time to check your saliva pH personally, are you ready for this? You need to get yourself some saliva pH paper. We have it on the internet. We have it available here at our office. Is when you first wake up in the morning, before you even sit up, you're laying in bed, your alarm clock goes off, or as Zig Ziglar says, your opportunity clock goes off. You grab your nitrazine paper, you put it in your mouth, and you turn the light on and you check the pH. That is the absolute best time to check your saliva pH. So when you come in the office, it's not that it's good or bad because your pH varies during the day, but if you have cancer, if you're really acid, how do I know if people are acid? You can tell by looking at them. And you can tell just by what's going on inside of the body, how much stress that they have. Now, on your blood test, you're going to want to write this down next to the word blood. I want you to write Cl. When your chloride level is up. So if you look at your own blood test and you see chloride, if it's elevated, that usually goes along with people who are acid. Their chloride level is up. And then you can write next to that, CO2 is down. CO2 is down. And there's another test in there that you can check out called the anion gap. Anion is up in acid. It's above 12. If it's above 12, you're acid. Here's something that I've been really blessed to learn. Sometimes when I practice, the fun part about practice is almost like I'm in a research lab. And guess who all the lab animals are? You guys. When we do hair analysis on people, what I learn, and see a lot of the stuff that I'm learning, it's not in books, you just kind of put it together. When I look at a hair analysis, if your iron is low, if your selenium is low, and your manganese are low, so it's iron is Fe, or you can just write Ir, and Se is selenium, and manganese is Mn. If they're low, ready for this? I know that you're acid. Why? Because the acid is causing them to be low. Why is that, Dr. Bob? Because your body's using all those minerals to neutralize the acid. So you don't have them. Well, guess what selenium and manganese are needed for? Your brain. Your pituitary gland. What does that mean, Dr. Bob? Well, if you're under stress, and your selenium, your manganese, and your iron are low, your pituitary gland can't make hormones for your thyroid and your adrenal gland. So you could be tired. This little nugget I just shared with you right now, you're one of the very few people in the whole world that just learned that, except for everybody that's in the whole world watching this right now. Because I have patients that come in that have low thyroid glands and their body is stressed, and you do the hair analysis, the minerals are always low. How do you raise it up? First, you got to change your stress, if you can do that. But if you can't change your stress, because I know you can't, some of you, Celtic sea salt. Eat more apple, beets, and carrots. Look at this pH chart that I have here for you. That gives you all the alkaline food. Lemons, watermelon, limes, grapefruit, mangoes, asparagus, onions, vegetable juice, parsley, raw spinach, broccoli, garlic, olive oil, dates, figs, melons, okra, squash, green beans. Now a lot of those fruits can cause neck pain, but focus on the vegetables. If you focus 80% of your meal vegetables and 10% or 20% everything else, guess what? You more than likely would be alkaline. But if you exercise a lot, you could be acid. So on the hair analysis, I look at your mineral levels. Your minerals. Iron, manganese, and selenium. Let's continue on. Here's a secret weapon for you. You know why that some of you, when you come into the office, your pH becomes normal and you start feeling better and you have more energy? Because so many people come in like this, and what happens over time? You end up like this. Do you know what the most important organ in the whole body is to take you from acid to alkaline? Your lungs. And when your posture is better and your lungs are able to expand, guess what's going to happen? Your pH is going to go up. You're going to be alkaline. So posture is important. So get one of those large balls. You know those large balls that you lay back on? And you can lay back on that ball. You want this posture. Because if you're like this, do you know that your lungs are being compressed? And your lungs exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide. And you don't want all of that extra acid inside of your body. So we briefly touched about the 80-20 rule. If 80% of your foods are vegetables, squashes, some fruit, especially an apple, and 20% is the acid food, so 80% alkaline, that'll help neutralize the acid. The most significant neutral number